I'm in an extraordinary place right now with Jack Algiere, who's the, are you chief horticulturist? What do you call yourself?
Farm director.
Farm director at Stone Barns here in Pocantico Hills, New York, where the famous Blue Hill at Stone Barns restaurant is located in a beautiful countryside donated, I guess, by David Rockefeller originally, right?
Originally, yes.
And my friend, he's 101.
And healthy.
And healthy. He was just at my house for dinner the other night up in Maine. And we are so excited to be here with Jack because Jack is doing extraordinary things in the growing of vegetables and now also livestock. You just said to me that growing a pea or a fowl similarly, I mean, to finding the best varieties. Tell us about that.
Well, I think the idea of a good farm is in its authenticity. And I think in any kind of cuisine or dining experience is the same way too. So the way we make our community unique and authentic is to produce our own products in as many places as we can. And when we find things that we can't just go out and buy to solve that problem, we can work on it. So whether it's a chicken that we want to make more flavorful or show off its chickenness a little better, or a pea that we want to turn purple and be super sweet or early, or whatever we want to have happen, we can play with those genetics and we can do it right here.
Just amazing. And there are chickens here now that are a cross between a Barred Rock, is it?
Barred Rock and a Delaware.
And a Delaware that are both good egg layers as well as good meat eaters. Or they're not meat eaters, we're going to eat their meat.
Yeah, meat birds.
Yeah, meat
so
birds.
The males are for meat and the females are for egg layers.
Yeah, and you're finding success with that?
We're just starting that project, but we are really happy with the outcome so far, and they're all grass-based. And
it's all based on flavor, on how do you base an egg? On flavor and color and size?
Flavor, color, hardness, size has to do with age usually, but also just the big thing is like finding a bird that actually can meet the service that we're asking it to do. It lives out on this landscape, so we want it to do what it's meant to do: scratch and sometimes fly, and
The farm here
around.
has how many acres?
We have 88 acres.
88 acres, not all of it under cultivation, but much of it now. And the gardens coming in, the drive are so beautiful. There's a lot out there still.
So what a time of year
it
is.
It's amazing. It looks very successful this year. You're growing carrots. Now these carrots are greenhouse carrots?
These are field carrots.
Oh, field, okay.
We have greenhouse carrots also, but we're just starting them now. So now that we're getting into the season, this is a cold greenhouse here. So
now look at the health of these carrots. This is so beautiful. Now, what is the carrot that you're best known for?
Well, we're best known, I think we're probably best known for something like this, what we call a fence carrot, which is just a little baby to eat. We usually clean it up and we send it into Blue Hill for a baby fresh.
And it's served to you kind of dipped in a salty water. Isn't that kind of a salty?
Yeah, as simple as possible. Just a little bit of dress.
Yeah, and then stuck on a sort of a sharp stainless steel nail.
Yeah.
And you pick a carrot, you pick a baby turnip, you pick a baby radish, you
or
pick
choy or fennel.
Right. Yeah, it's all so interesting.
Yeah.
So, very tasty.
Yeah, so these guys come out of the field. This is early for us to be picking, so we're picking the fence size now. But what we're really looking for is to find, in the next month, by November, we'll do our first harvests of our storage carrots. So this is Bolero. This is a very popular variety for winter storage. We plant them at the end of July every year.
Very different taste.
Yeah, very different, especially as they get older and they store extremely well. So once we harvest them, we put them in soil and into bins in our cold storage, and we can keep them there until April. So we harvest them, we pull about 6,000 pounds of carrots out of the ground, and that's our stock for the winter.
Now, if anybody watching wants to get Bolero seeds, where do you get Bolero seeds?
Bolero's commonly sell, Johnny's Selected Seeds is a great source for Bolero and a lot of other varieties. We do a lot of trials here with Dutch companies that aren't necessarily on the market, but most of these varieties, even though they're new for us, are available through Johnny's and other seed companies.
Are carrots being grown in Miami?
You know, I really have no idea why they call it Miami.
So we have a question, where do carrots get their sweetness?
Well, usually carrots get their sweetness from the cool weather, especially when the temperatures dip down a little bit, just like spinach or other vegetables. That starch to sugar back and forth always makes the vegetable sweeter. So the farther we get into the fall, the better everything sweetens up. And with a little bit of a frost, it's even better.
The least flavorful is Naval.
Mm-hmm.
Not as tasty. Maybe when it gets bigger, it'll be tastier.
And that's what we're comparing. Is that do we really have
Miami's
that flavor
good.
at different sizes? And
Bolero's really good.
Bolero's is
Really
the
good.
one to beat, really.
That
It's
is
the
a
one to
really great carrot.
beat. Most of the rest of the season, we grow a variety called Mokum, which is an excellent small variety, but not a great storage.
Now, what about tomatoes?
Now-
My favorite, tomatoes. So useful and so really important to a kitchen.
Well, we grow a broad selection of varieties, mostly to get different colors and textures.
That's pretty.
Yeah, so this is striped German. This is a classic heirloom. It's rainbow inside. Very delicious, very watery. So sometimes it's funny, our CSA members sometimes will avoid this because it has to be
Too
used
watery?
so quickly.
Oh.
And it can't sit for the week. And we'll find that sometimes they'll want something a little more firm, where our chefs are ready to use that right away. They know that all that water is so valuable, and even though it might have a split or something, it's still
I learned
really
all
good.
about tomato water here at Stone Barns. I had never thought about saving the water for my tomatoes.
Yeah, pretty
And when you can tomatoes and you peel and seed them, you're left with a lot of water in the bowl. And I just put all of that in cheesecloth now and drip it and then drink that. Just so
perfectly clear water. It's delicious.
So good.
Yeah. Mhm.
Essence of tomato. And then what about the red? Who's
And
that?
so the red now,
Perfect tomato.
it is.
It looks like an early girl.
And the idea is that it is a hybrid, right? But it's been crossed with heirloom genetics. And we work with Cornell University, Martha Mossler. We're calling it Martha Red.
It's not this Martha, but Martha
There is
Mossler.
a wonderful plant
Well, I'm
breeder,
looking
tomato
this
breeder
up right away.
at Cornell, and she's just been working on this. We've done trials with her for years. She has some of the best disease-resistant genetics out there, and she's using her genetics and selling them to all kinds of other companies that are working with them.
Beautiful tomato.
However, most of the time the disease-resistant stuff doesn't have great flavor, and that's why she's backing in all these heirloom genetics.
I see. So GMO is not a dirty word here.
They're certainly not GMO.
They're not. So what's the difference?
Hybridization is a very different thing. This is taking
You were talking
male
about
and female
genetics,
lines.
though.
Certainly. Well,
Yeah.
it's still genetics, and
Yeah.
she is a tomato geneticist. She doesn't do GMO selection,
Okay.
her particularly. These are what we call
people question
conventional
that.
crosses.
They don't know what the difference is. So
Yeah.
so explain the difference as easily as you can.
Well, conventional breeding is taking a male line and a female line and making these crosses. There's no transgenic transport, there's no lab work necessary, but we do use things, well, the scientists that we work with do use gene maps, which are extremely valuable. So using all of this new technology to sort of shine the light on things that we've kind of guessed at for a long time, and then doing the conventional skill set that we've learned for literally centuries, learned how to make these crosses and do these things. That's still extremely important. And also, the best stuff on the market is non-GMO by far. There is no contest. And this is one of those products.
Okay, good.
So I have two quick questions. Sylvia would like to know, what is the best tomato variety to grow in a container?
That's a very good question. There are lots of... you want a tomato that has a lot of resilience and that will grow in just about any environment, because the pot is a difficult space. It dries out fast.
Right.
It doesn't have a lot of depth to it.
So you think the small fruited tomatoes would be best, or?
Yeah, or the hybrids. Even there's a variety out there called Mountain Magic, and others that are in Mountain series that are very good. They're high disease resistance, and they're productive in a lot of different situations. New varieties.
How
Yeah.
good this is.
Yeah.
And
So
Shelley
tasty.
would like to know, first of all, she has an awesome farmhouse and greenhouse. Thanks for Valera Carrot's knowledge. Can they be grown and get the same sweetness in Southern California based on the climate?
Well, of course, Southern California is a much warmer environment for us, and it doesn't get, depending on how close you are to the coast,
Yeah, I can taste this one.
it will probably not get as sweet, and you might taste more of the sort of pine, turpentine flavors that come out of those carrots. But it's still an excellent carrot. And if you're growing it in the early spring or the late fall or winter, when the temperatures are a little bit cooler, down below 80s, then it's going to be a lot better.
I actually prefer the Martha tomato just because it's more acidic, has more stronger flavor.
Well, still we have a strong, and a lot of people want red tomatoes still.
Yeah.
You know, even with all the
I mean, I
colors and
love
everything.
that, but this is so good with mozzarella and basil. Yeah.
I mean, she's really got it down.
Really.
Yeah.
Oh, good. So we want to see the
Yeah,
rest
see
of
some
the
more?
greenhouse. This is so fascinating. And was this originally set up for sort of cold weather in-ground greenhouse, right? With Elliot Coleman, did he have something to do with the?
So Elliot is, you know, really a teacher for me, certainly. And he found me for this place with another friend, amigo. And when he was still an advisor for the place when I came on. And so, you know, of course, all of us, we look to him for.
Oh, I do too. He's
right?
just incredible.
But this house is cold system. We have heaters, but we keep the house to 32 degrees in the winter, and it's fully convertible. So in the summertime, it feels like an outdoor space.
I feel like I'm outdoors right now. So let's walk around. I can't wait to see. And there's a lot of production in the greenhouse. Look at the flowers. These are all from inside or outside?
A mix of both. The Lysianthus are from inside, the zinnias and sunflowers and the dahlias now are all from outside. We have fields, all in our vegetable fields, we have mixes of long rows of flowers in between everything. And my wife Shannon, of course, does all the flowers.
So I have a question from Valerie as we're walking. Can you know by the smell which tomato is going to taste better?
That's pretty hard.
Yeah, I think that's a hard one.
The tomatoes don't smell that much, especially when you're in the store. Marcy is stuck on the netting. Oh, you're going to stay here forever, Marcy. There you are.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What are these? These are for propagating the seeds?
Yes, so these are our sliding tables. We're using and there's radiant bench on here. We're growing sprouts for peas and nasturtium sprouts and fennel sprouts. And then we, of course, in our main season, these tables are filled to the corners. But we, right now, have lettuces and some mustard greens and things like that.
And here, these are flowers, it looks like. Are these flowers? No.
Well, these are actually, this is sai-sai. This is an Asian vegetable that we've been saving. And we have a great variety. Actually, I'll be glad to share some seeds. They're very interesting and extremely unique now that we.
And outside, nasturtiums.
Of course, calendula is finishing. The little gem marigolds.
Oh, and look! Oh, you have to see this. This is incredible. This is a ginger. This is an Indian ginger.
Yeah.
Now, where is that one that had such a beautiful root already exposed? Oh, yes, here. You can see the ginger root right there.
If we want, we can pull one out and I'll show you. Yeah, sure.
I'll try to pull this one.
Now, it'll probably have to pull out the whole body of that.
Oh, this whole
all
thing?
one piece. So, yeah, that's good.
Oh, wow. Look.
Yeah, very nice, right?
That's a beautiful one.
And these plants, they go 8 to 10 times the volume. So we generally harvest somewhere around 800 to 1,000 pounds out of less than 2,000 square feet here. So.
And it smells like ginger. Oh, this is what they pickle for Japanese restaurants.
Yeah, fresh.
And fresh. Yeah. And just eat it. Put it in my green juice in the morning. Oh, what a beautiful thing.
And of course, the leaves are good for tea when it's fresh. There's so much green mass here. On the turmeric here, we don't harvest it for a little while because it still goes into November. It's much more cold hardy than the ginger is. But we actually take leaves off and. The restaurant will cook fish in them and that kind of is great, like a cardamom leaf or banana.
How beautiful.
I have a question from Anna. She wants to know if mint and tomatoes be planted together.
I think mint, they could be. Mint is a little bit aggressive and perennial, so if you put it in there, what we do when we talk about tomatoes a little bit is that they do need to be rotated. It really helps to put the tomatoes in a new place every time to avoid disease.
Yeah, here's tomatoes, in the ground tomatoes, in the greenhouse. Now these tomatoes, show the length of this tomato plant. Tomatoes really are fruits, and they really are vines, aren't they?
So the plant starts here at the head, right there, in this clover. We plant them in there. And this root vines and goes on this string as a single leader all the way up here. We use these little clips here to lower the to lower as we need to, and that way, as the fruit continues to move up the plant like this, as we
And
lower
look
it
at
down.
this cluster of amazing. What variety is this?
This is Narangila. This is a variety that is similar to Sun Gold, which is just on the other side. In fact, we can do a trial. We're testing to see how different varieties compare.
It's a very different taste than
They look-
Sun Gold.
Yeah.
Oh, I like
Yeah.
this one.
And, you know, Sun Gold has gotten a really great reputation, but I think sometimes it's just a little too sweet.
It's very sweet. Look, I
Yeah.
love this one. What's
Yeah.
it called?
It's called Tarangila. Sort of
Tarangila.
a strange name, but very good nonetheless, and starting to become available on the market. This is one that we've been working with Enzazed out of Holland with.
Well, I love this whole system.
In the greenhouse, it's extremely valuable for us because we want to keep tight lanes and we want to keep everything really neat in here. These have been producing now since the last week in June, so this is
Now,
very
I
productive.
and several other friends are plagued with white fly on tomatoes. Why? What do you think that is? Do you get white flies in here?
On occasion, with whiteflies and aphids, those two, I mean, some of it is the eggs that are falling onto the ground and incubating back up all the time, so cleanup is really essential, of course. And then high nutrition, so something called luxury consumption is an issue for everything, the world. And what it is that if you have more at the party, then more people are going to come.
Oh.
So if you have more energy in the space, then something else is going to show up to eat it. So what, you know, feeding a plant to a certain extent, especially tomatoes, which are really heavy feeders, it's good to give them lots of fertility, but if it's excessive, something else is going to show up to eat it. It's just
So
the
I see you're
way it goes.
underplanting with clover. That's good.
Yeah, now the clover, especially when it's cut, now when the clover leaves are cut, it also stimulates root growth. And when that happens, the plant releases nitrogen into the soil. So we're getting a very constant flow of nitrogen from the leguminous relationship
Right.
without having to add other nitrogen
Yeah,
sources or
sounds
anything
great.
like that. We have great productive crop.
So remember that. Underplant your tomatoes with clover. Regular old green clover.
This is white clover,
Oh, white
Rivendell
clover.
white clover is
Okay.
this variety, and it's
Okay.
white clover is nice because it also works well in pathways, and
it's nice.
and it stays low.
And do you keep that here? It's perennial.
It is,
So
but we will actually, when we take all these tomatoes out soon,
Yeah.
we will go into our next crop.
So you'll plow it under and then plant some more.
Yeah, we may even just cut it right to the base and then plant into it, kind of like a
Yeah,
no-till.
that's great. And the tomatoes are beautiful and so prolific. I mean, you have a lot of tomatoes still.
Still very productive, and a lot of these others, again, are other greenhouse tomatoes. Some that do better indoors than out.
Are you picking every single day for the restaurant here?
We have specific harvest days, but yes, we pick every day. Generally, Wednesdays and Fridays are our big harvests, but we send out a list each week. Jason, was marketing with me, he does every week, sits with the chefs. I go in with the chefs. We bring all the farmers in as a whole because we sell this. You know, the system is working as one piece.
What's
So,
growing here?
this is Celtus.
Quick question about tomatoes. Do you plant the tomatoes in the same spot every year, or do you rotate?
Oh no, he just said
Oh,
that
you did.
it's a different space.
We do rotate. This greenhouse has a 10-year rotation, so every one of these blocks moves every year. In fact, every one of these blocks has 3 primary moves each year. So here it goes from the tomatoes. This was a cucumber section earlier in the season, but this is our first round of Celtus. The tomatoes, as they come out, the next succession, and then the next succession. But it'll take us 10 years before we're back in tomatoes in this bag.
And these are all different kinds of. Is that mustard?
Yeah, this is a really nice red Russian kale.
Oh, it's good.
It's called Bare Necessities, which is really nice. When it grows big, it's really frilly. But we love to use it as a microgreen. Very delicious.
So tasty. Oh wow. Taste that.
And then we have some scarlet frills and some other mustards in the back that we mix into our salads. And then this side is radishes. So in this rotation, we have summer flowers. You can see some still left here. The Lysianthus are doing really well. But other varieties, things
Now, do
like
they offer any nutrients to the soil, Lysianthus, or are they just purely decorative for you?
Well, they're decorative, but they're also bringing in all of the beneficials. So having flowers and rotations in the garden is extremely important for the health of the system as a whole,
Okay.
rather than being too pragmatic about just production.
And asters too, I see that you have some asters growing.
And Tanya would like to know, what soil do you use?
Well, in this space, it was an outdoor field soil that's in here that we built the house around. In fact, we put the soil, took it out as we built, and we brought the soil back in rock-free.
How deep?
2 feet deep. And we have amended with compost, at a very light amount of compost, and kelp is really the only thing we amend to this house. And that's been happening now consistently for 13 years. This is a no-spray house also.
And I've been coming here for 13 years and looking at the greenhouse, and it only gets better and better, and the produce is better and better, which is really a tribute to your hard work.
Well, and to this wonderful soil that keeps getting, we just keep trying to care for that, and it gets to be better. This is another round again of the mustards. So this is the way we seed that. I'll show you here, because we have, this is a very valuable tool. This is a pinpoint seeder. I'm not sure if you may use these, in fact.
I love these.
Yeah, and this is probably one of our favorite tools on the farm.
Is that another Elliott Coleman
This is
tool?
an Elliott design.
And sold at Johnny's.
Yep, sold through Johnny's, who has been selling more and more tools all the time.
Yes.
Great company. We work with them very closely with our slow tool project here at Stonebarns. So this allows us to do very tight rows, and we just rake over the top as it goes, and those seeds come out in those lines. And then we have a couple of other tools, like very light rakes that we can cultivate over. And you can see there's no weeds in here or anything. This is all about surface. When we prepare the beds, we spend all of our time making sure that we're not going to restart all these weeds.
Yep.
And that's
And
really
you have some
important.
weeds over here, so you better get busy.
I know.
These are going to seed. You have to get those out of there.
All right, so for imperfection, this is Galansoga.
Oh,
This,
you're not eating that, are you?
well, sometimes.
Yes, when you're really hungry.
You know, the chefs, sometimes they'll eat anything.
I eat purslane, and actually everybody's coming to my house now for the purslane that's growing, because it is a weed, but it's also a delicious vegetable.
The first time that Dan came down and asked, he said, "We just bought purslane at the market for $18 a pound." And I
Jeez.
said, "You gotta be kidding me."
Everywhere. That's hogweed. If you don't know what purslane is, it's also hogweed. But you have another weed that I hate so much. I see it. That one. It's next to the aster. See that one? That's going. Yeah, that one.
This one.
That gets.
Oh,
No,
this
no,
is
that's
purslane.
purslane. Show the difference, because this is important. That's a very bad weed because it gets spikes on it.
Oh, yes. So this is an amaranth.
Yes, I don't
Right?
like that.
And some of the amaranths do get thorns on them, like a white amaranth, and
Yep.
or they call them thorn amaranth, and they're sneaky.
But
You
this
can't really
is
see it.
purslane, which is very, very delicious when we saute it with garlic and a wok and a little bit of soy sauce. It's you know, the Asians love this.
It's very high vitamin C, and we
It
started
is.
to grow some cultivated
So
varieties.
good.
There are several cultivated varieties, big ones, but they're
Yeah.
not as good as
No,
the
this
wild.
is the wild is much better. I agree.
I have a great question from Shelley. Any advice for the home gardeners who can't rotate as easily?
I think rotation is a really valuable thing, and so if it just means to maybe reduce the number of blocks that you have, I think the minimum is really 4 moves.
Yep. In a year. And
Yeah,
no,
over
every
the course
4
of
years.
over 4 years.
Here's my favorite vegetable. This is just one of my favorite things.
We picked this like crazy, and it just continues to
And
grow.
what variety? This is a New Zealand spinach. It is really very, very juicy.
Mm-hmm.
And I use this for my green juice every morning. It's just the best. And I like to saute too. I just take the leaves and saute those.
It really grows like crazy.
So good.
And it does taste a lot like, well, it's sort of like wild spinach or like
seltzer.
lamb's corner.
That's right.
Lamb's quarter.
Yeah.
Very good.
Doesn't taste like typical spinach, but I love this for juice.
Speaking of spinach, one of the things that we do to prepare for the fall this time of year is once we get into October, we plant spinach every week outdoors. And every week kind of corresponds to a month of harvest.
Right.
So we plant these big loads out, and we'll put plastic tunnels over the first couple, but the last one we plant in October we don't cover.
And wait for next spring.
Yeah, and in the spring it flourishes.
we're going to be doing that. We have Ryan with us today. Ryan came over from Bedford with me. Ryan, come here, say hi. Ryan's been doing a fantastic job. You all know Ryan, and he's been doing a fantastic job in keeping up with the demand at the farm, which is the demand is basically me, my office, and my daughter and her the 4 other people who eat in her house. She takes stuff home every week, tons of it, because they're all vegetarians, and it really helps.
It sends all the scraps back for the chickens.
Yep, and that's the other thing that we love to do, and I'm sure you do here. Doesn't everything go to the chickens? That
Yeah, if it doesn't go to pigs or chickens, it goes to compost, and
right.
it certainly feels good to have someone appreciate the work that we do. Right?
Exactly.
Oh, definitely. Can we see the rest of this amazing place?
I would love to show you that. I think we may
we're
not
out of
have
town.
Wi-Fi.
We have Wi-Fi?
In the other greenhouse. Oh, let's just run over.
Great.
At least get some pictures of it, because
We will try.
A couple of
even-
cool tools while you got
Oh yeah,
the camera on here.
Oh yeah.
This is our tilther. Also, again, these are projects we've been working with Elliot on for years. A beautiful bed roller,
I love
30-inch
this
roller.
too. This is so great. It breaks up all the clumps of soil, doesn't it?
Makes a nice, firm bed for using the cedars. And this, we put a power drill on, an electric drill.
Oh.
And then it runs a small, we call this a tilther. And this works over the surface, so it actually makes a really wonderful 1.5-inch seed bed just on top, so we don't have to do heavy, deep cultivation.
So what about double digging?
We broad fork.
Okay, you broad fork.
And
okay.
on occasion, we'll double dig. In fact, we have a really cool tool that has been really valuable for us for making pathways. I'll just grab it.
Do you
and
have
bring
it here?
over. Yeah.
See, look how nicely the tools are kept right here. Oh,
So
that one. Oh, that's a good one.
This is a lithium-ion battery-powered tilther. I mean, we call it. This is called the Tilly. It's made by a company called Carts and Tools. It's got a hub motor on it and these great designed fabricated teeth. Now these are great. It rotates pretty fast. It's adjustable on here. So, and what we can do is run down and you can till a whole field with it practically. But it also makes really good pathways. It throws the material up.
So yeah, so it's making a raised bed and a path. That's
Yeah. So Michael
phenomenal.
McGowan at Carts and Tools.
Carts and tools.
And of course, all of our reading and
These are important because people don't realize. I mean, I love that tool. This is so good for scraping off the small weeds in your garden.
the collinear hoe is an excellent tool. This gets just on the surface of the ground. Of course, when it's on, it's just meant to just cut right underneath. You can see the blade is right there. It cuts between the root and the stem of the plant. It's a very fine tool.
Yeah.
This little guy is actually a rake that I found. Originally, I found it in Bedford.
Oh, really?
I did at
the hardware store.
at the ag supply store there, Mill River.
Oh, right.
And it was sold, advertised as a leaf rake that doesn't get leaves caught in it. And so I thought, you know what, I could probably use this to go in between those finely seeded beds.
Yes.
And this can go over a live crop right between them. It's this nice little tine rake, and it does such a beautiful job.
Yeah, look
And
at
it
that.
will pull out the little thread weeds and
not the
break up the surface and leave everything seeded in the ground.
That is pretty.
So I turned it on to Johnny's, and they put a Johnny's handle on it, and here it is.
We have one of those too, but we need more.
Gia has a question. What are the best or easiest flowers to grow in an herb garden?
Well, of course, I think the best things for herb gardens are edible flowers, right?
Yes. Nasturtiums.
We can't go so far because of the water just went on.
And those gem marigolds and calendula, and of course,
I love calendulas.
Johnny
and
jump
they're
ups.
pretties. Yep.
are really delicious. They kind of have a nice.
Your peas are big already.
Yeah,
Oh,
these are our
look.
peas. Speaking of.
Oh, fantastic.
This is a seed crop of our peas here. These are a purple variety that we have been stabilizing now for many years. This is now the 9th generation of this seed. And it's a gorgeous, sort of purple snow pea, really sweet.
Look at your
It's been
kale.
great. Yeah, so our winter kale, and actually this is the first
Corn.
time we've done this. This is non-GMO hybrid corn from our friend Walter Goldstein, who's at Merriman Institute in Wisconsin.
And what kind of corn was it?
There's 20 varieties of hybrid feed corn in there that are high beta carotene, non-GMO varieties that are meant to provide more opportunities for large-scale growers.
Wow.
So we're just doing a test, and we're using it, and we're working with some of our farmers that are around us in the area up north that are growing bigger grain crops. And we're hoping to shift them to use these high beta carotene corns for our chicken production, and that way
So do
they
you
get
grow
better
all your own
skin and they
chicken
get
food
better
here?
shell. We don't currently,
Not
but our
everything
friends
you
up in
could.
Columbia County are growing it.
Fantastic.
Yep.
And look, oh, everything's getting watered.
And so in the back there, just to give you the stretch, there's all of our winter kales are in the ground. There's more turmeric, a lot of greens still being planted in these beds that are prepared. More flowers, those beautiful amaranth back there.
They're beautiful.
Beyond that is all of our peppers. So we have a lot of sweet snack peppers, and then there's our worm bin in the way back there. That long part is our vermicompost bin.
Oh, great.
Uh,
And nice beets, nice.
this is
You're gonna have quite a
really-
crop here.
This is a wonderful beet. I'll just bring it up. These are kiwis, right? So, really beautiful beet. This is a really cool one.
I love that. Bright yellow.
Yeah, and inside it's actually pretty extraordinary.
Do you have a knife?
Something to cut.
I'm not going to break it.
Yeah, we might.
But this is a bright yellow beet. You can tell it's yellow. See the stems of the leaves. Find something? Oh, good.
I found a soap knife. So I'm gonna have to cut it on the ground. So
Okay. Oh boy, what a gorgeous
that.
beet.
So this is called Badger Flame. This is a variety that Erwin Goldwyn has been working on at the University of Wisconsin. This is what's called a non-geosmin beet. So you know geosmin is the flavor that gives us that earthy flavor in a beet that usually tickles the throat.
Right. A lot of
And for
people
me,
don't
I'm
like.
sensitive to
a lot
that.
of people don't like beets because of that.
Yeah, so this doesn't have any of that. It's bred out. And
Wow.
again, conventional breeding, very high quality, crossbreeding, non-GMO, and really excellent
Very
stuff.
tasty beet. Now, it was the University of Wisconsin that just recently came to my house in Maine. They're doing a whole study on kiwis, actinidia.
Oh,
Do you grow
beautiful.
kiwis here?
We do in the courtyard.
Oh, you do? And are they producing fruit?
They produce lightly. We
Mine
do a lot of
I
pruning.
have
but-
very heavy producers on my house in Maine. They were planted in 1925.
wow.
And they're small olive-sized kiwis, smooth skin, and they're doing a whole study on them. And they took back cuttings, and they're going to start marketing them. I hope.
We love them,
So,
but
yeah.
we don't get as many as we
Yeah,
hoped.
yeah, we're getting a lot.
We have a question from Karen. What are the best cover crops to grow for small gardens during cold winter months?
Well, cold winter cover crops kind of limited to rye and vetch. Hairy vetch is a legume that sometimes is a little bit aggressive. So
They might come back.
it might come back. Rye might come back also, but
Yeah.
it has to go to flower to really kill it. So one of the suggestions there is that you use straw bedding. Because that does a lot of the work except for all the deep roots. So if you do take all of your plant material off in the fall, you can leave the root mass in the ground and heavily straw bed. That holds all the soil
So
together.
what kind of straw?
I like oat straw.
Oat straw.
Oat straw,
Where can we find oat straw?
well, I buy it from a local farm, but usually it's worth asking if you go to your local supply store, Agway or something like that has straw, because you would definitely want to know that it's not wheat straw.
Which
Because-
will grow terrible
Wheat.
wheat. Which has big roots,
Yeah.
strong roots, and you never get rid of it.
Because wheat and rye can live through the winter,
Yeah.
but oats die back. So even if there's a little bit of seed in the straw, if it germinates, they'll die in the winter, so you don't have to worry about competition. A lot of people do that with their garlic, and which is a real
Oh,
issue because the
Oat straw. We have to find a supplier for oat straw.
Mm-hmm.
All of you out there looking for it, if you find a good one near Bedford, let me know.
That's great. There's a lot around right now, of course, because of Halloween, and usually it's the bright golden. It's the brightest straw. It's usually the largest straw. So,
Anything else?
We
Any
have
other questions?
One last question. What's the best pumpkin variety to grow outdoors in a smaller yard?
I don't know.
the classic is Howden.
Yeah, and that's nice. But it's not the tastiest.
No, not to eat.
No, not to eat.
So
Sugar, is it Sugar Daddy that's so tasty?
that one's very good. There's one called Winter Sweet.
That's good.
And then I would look in the catalogs. Again, I would probably suggest a company like Johnny's Seeds
Right.
to look for pie pumpkins compared to carving pumpkins. They're very different.
Because you want to grow things that are both edible and carving. And after you carve it and do it the day before Halloween, then eat it. It's so good for pie and for just vegetables. Well, thank you, Jack. This is an eye-opener for many of us to know that that you are not only just growing things for a restaurant, but looking for the optimum flavor, the optimum color, the optimum viability in the garden, and you're doing such an amazing job.
Thanks. It makes us
I
all
wish
really
I
excited.
wish I could work here. It's like my dream to work in a place like this. But I will, in my way, try to grow as many things your way as possible, because it really works and it really is rewarding to have a garden full of edibles that are so good for you. And we're talking today at the New York Times Stone Barns Conference, Food for Thought, and it is a fantastic conference, and you learn so much from so many wonderful people involved in making all of us healthier and eating more nutritious food. And that's certainly what your goal is.
That it is.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much.
Certainly glad
Thanks.
to have you, Martha.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.